Subscribe to Teckoh on YouTube or you will forever be a bot at Fortnite.
What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So season 5 is finally here and a ton of changes have obviously been made to the game. And in today's video, I'll be doing a guide on how you guys can reach Champions League fast and get a lot of arena points in as little time as possible. With that said, if you go on to enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it. And alongside that, I'll be uploading way more tips and tricks content as the season progresses. So be sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you don't miss a single video. But anyways, let's get into it. The first question I want to answer in this video is one that a ton of you guys probably have, and that's which game mode is most optimal for gaining points. Now, at the time of this video, the 3 available game modes for Arena are solos, duos, and trios, and by far the best method to gain points is going to be in solos. The truth is, everything is just more optimal in solos pertaining to gaining points. There's no risk of teammates who mess up and throw games, you get 20 points per kill as opposed to 10 and 7 in team modes, and in general, placement points just come much easier in solos compared to any other game mode in Arena. So if you're trying to maximize your point gain in Arena, solo is definitely the way to go. However, I do want to clear one thing up. In no way am I trying to say that team modes are bad. In fact, you can still gain a ton of points in team modes and I still strongly recommend playing them. But when it comes to gaining points as fast as you possibly can in as little time as possible, you're gonna probably want to keep it primarily in solos. But with that said, if you have teammates that you really vibe with or really just dislike solos in general, then there's really nothing wrong with using those game modes. Moving on, the second thing I want to talk about in this video is going to be where you should land to maximize your point gain in Arena. So without a doubt, the optimal playstyle this season is shaping up to be a lot more passive than previously. With the removal of the pump, W-King is a bit more difficult now and it's going to take you longer to really get an outplay on somebody and clean up the kill. So with that in mind, unless you're in a lower division where you can really afford to die off spawn and lose the bus fare, the most optimal playstyle is going to be looting up while not very contested, then playing for endgame with occasional fights where there's room to benefit from it. I'll get more into fighting soon, so be sure to stick around. In terms of your actual drop spot, you're definitely going to want to land at a passive spot. It doesn't have to be necessarily uncontested, but a place that has decent loot and everything else you need for a good game. There are multiple spots that I like for this playstyle. A few of them include Steamy Stacks, the new Stealthy Stronghold, Cape Cod, Retail Row, and pretty much any other spot you're comfortable with. On the other hand, if you're in a fairly low division and you know you could easily destroy the players in your lobbies, then you can feel free to land at a W key spot like Salty Towers. Ultimately though, your drop spot should have 2 things. 1, it should be a spot that obviously fits your playstyle, and 2, it should be a spot you're comfortable with and confident landing at. But moving on from where to land, next up, I want to briefly touch on the fighting meta and how you can approach getting kills in Arena this season. So to start off, as most of us know by now, the pump shotgun is gone, so you'll really want to figure out which shotgun you prefer out of the available ones. As much as I'd love to say one shotgun is definitively better between our 2 options, which are the charge and tactical, I really can't give one perfect pick as everyone's preference is different. By the way, I know the dragon shotgun thing is in the game as well, but I mean, who uses that thing? Come on. Plus, it's like super rare, so I'm not even going to bother with it, okay? Honestly, overall, the shotguns are pretty balanced this season though, so it really just comes down to which one you like using more. On one hand, if you're a more slow-paced player going for peaks and smart edits, you may like the charge, while more mechanical players might prefer using the tactical. Once again, that really just comes down to preference. Apart from that, fighting in this new season is relatively similar to previous seasons, with the exception of a few minor changes. A few loot pool changes such as the full return of the heavy and tactical ARs, P90, basic SMG, and the new double barrel type dragon shotgun, and a few other things have been made, but in general no major game mechanics have been messed with apart from the loot pool. So with that in mind, ultimately the biggest piece of advice that I would give you all is to start focusing on practicing with the new weapons. Whether that means simply picking them up when you see them in Arena, practicing them in box fights, or whatever else you may want to do, simply practicing with the new items is going to be the fastest way to adapt and start winning more fights in the new meta. But with that said, moving into the last section of this video, I want to talk about some of the best external methods to practice and perform better in Arena. The first thing I want to tell you all in this section is one that I briefly mentioned last section, and that's using the new items. What I would recommend doing is setting up your own creative world with all the weapons you suck with. For me, I'm absolutely garbage with the charge, like I'm actually terrible with it. As in, when I'm in game, I can hardly even get a single kill using that weapon. So for me, I'd focus on using charged shotguns. That way I can practice using them and thus improve on my weak points. Overall, the first practice tip is to simply start practicing the things you're bad at, instead of using weapons you're already good with. That way you can be good at everything instead of a few particular things. Okay, so second up, this is a fairly surprising method, and that's simply playing Zone Wars. Right now, Zone Wars really reflect a high point endgame in Arena, as in they're pretty similar to one another. The player count is often pretty close, the weapons are updated to the specific season, and loadouts are pretty randomized so you can practice both with poor loot and with good loot. If you can find a lobby of good players in a zone war, then you can really get some good practice and improve at endgame as a result. What you can do is either hop into a creative fill or see if in the creative lobby they have any Zone Wars maps that are up. Usually they should have a featured map or two that are based on PvP, and oftentimes one of those is Zone Wars. If you're struggling to find a lobby or to find an up-to-date Zone Wars map with Season 5 loot and weapons, then I'd recommend one by a YouTuber named Droya. The code for this map is going to be 707844554978. This map has completely updated loot, placement points, realistic storm speeds, and overall it's just really good for practice. Third up in practice methods, I just want to go over the warm-up that I recommend for Arena. Now, I know a lot of you guys might not warm up yet, but it's honestly a really important thing to do. In fact, it's often the difference between hopping into a game and dominating versus losing and rage quitting after 3 games. Obviously, the most optimal warm-up is going to vary from person to person and depend on your strengths and weaknesses, but here's what I would recommend. First off, I would start by spending about 5 to 10 minutes practicing your aim when you first get on. Whether you want to do aim duels in creative with a friend, some Kovacs, or the Scavix map inside of Fortnite, any type of aim training is going to work for this. From there, hop into a blank creative world and simply free build for a bit. But don't just do any random free builds, instead try to do techniques you struggle with or want to learn, that way you can improve your mechanics while you're warming up. Finally, the last part of the warm-up is to simply hop into some 1v1s and get your actual fighting on point. And don't forget, if you guys need a place to find players to 1v1, be sure to join my Discord, which is going to be linked down below. In the server, we have a ton of looking for group chats so you can find people to play with or against. And as a side note, I'm starting to host a ton of giveaways and things like that in the server, plus it's generally just an awesome community, so be sure to go and join if you're interested. Overall, that warm-up is obviously extremely simple, but you'll be shocked at how much difference such a simple warm-up can make for your skill going into real matches. You'll start hitting more shots, building and editing smoother, and your gameplay as a whole will be much better. Speaking of warming up as well, I'm considering posting a full warm-up guide on my channel soon, so be sure to subscribe with post notifications on so you don't miss out on that. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully this video helps you out to reach champs fast this season and improve at the game faster while doing so. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you could drop a like and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss another video. And with that said, have a fantastic day and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.